Hello, my loves. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to get into Netflix's new movie, The Watcher. And this is actually based on a true story. It's about an ode to a house. It was really interesting. And a lot of people on social media have been going back and forth as to how they felt about the ending. So let's get into it. It's a seven-part series, and it is based off of an article in the 2018 New York Magazine, chronicling the events that occurred after Derek and Maria Broaddus, and in the show, their names are Dean and Nora Bronick. They move into a really big, stately home, a six-bedroom beautiful home in the resident part of New Jersey suburbs in 2014. Now, the new homeowners, played by Bobby Canalvi and Naomi Watts, I might have said his last name wrong, my apologies, but they get an anonymous letter from someone who claims to be, quote unquote, the watcher of the house, who's been put in charge of watching and waiting for its second coming. And he keeps referring to the children as, quote unquote, young blood. So he repeats that the house needs young blood. More letters follow all throughout the series. And when I tell you, every single episode was really intriguing and it was really engaging. And it always raised the question, like, who is the watcher? Now, as I said before on my channel, I don't do spoilers because I feel like people appreciate the art of getting into movie commentary without spoiling for those who, want to see it later, where they just want to get an insight into the movie. But this series is based on an actual cold case. So the show was filmed in New York's Westchester County. However, the real house that inspired this story is still standing. So here's what we know about it. The house is located, well, first of all, let me go back a little bit. The neighbors, before I get into the house, are are so creepy in this series. This is a neighbor, Jasper, and his mother, in this quote about a baby skeleton having 100 more bones than the adult bones. For some reason, they're really fixated on children, and they do slightly hint as to why. It was one of the conspiracy theories, and I'll let you guys dig into the series and figure it out. But when I tell you that the neighbors are just as colorful and interesting as the house itself, it really puts into perspective why they felt the need to write this article and make this movie. Now, this young man in the movie, he is dating the protagonist's daughter, and he is installing their security system. And to me, he's really he's very supportive character, handsome young man, really looking out to protect the family. Like, he even offered to do security for the very reasonable price of just $20 an hour, and watching them all night because they were really shook up about the letters that kept coming every single episode. She was another one of my favorite characters in the series. She was a PI, and her insight is brilliant, and the way that she connects with the family is amazing. But she's very vulnerable and raw. She tells her own personal stories and her own struggles about her past marriages and just personal issues that really pull the audience in and keep the watchers engaged as to how she works with the family to try to find out who the watcher is. And my last favorite character is Karen. And And I'm laughing because, um, well, Jennifer Coolidge is just a treasure in any film that she plays. But in this film, particularly, she has these one-liners that are hilarious. And she lives up to her name. She is definitely a Karen throughout the film. And it's hilarious because she's a real estate owner. She's the one who actually sold Naomi Watts and her family's character the house. And so she's really everything kind of comes full circle with her. So in the last episode, it's it's really and it's a crazy moment. Like this whole film series, every single episode kind of builds on one another, but the ending is so unexpected that it really shook people. Like some people were saying they compared it to, you know, well, they were saying it was like worse than Game of Thrones. Other people were saying that they were really satisfied and it explains everything. So again, you have to get into it and watch it and see for yourself. But this is the actual 657 Boulevard home that this Watcher series is based off of. So I alluded to it earlier. So the house's original owner was Harry Lincoln Russell. He was a real estate agent and an early property developer in Westfield who purchased the house in 1905. And in 1914, the Davies family purchased 657 Boulevard for $1. Oh my goodness, I'm telling you. Oh my goodness, they bought this beautiful home for $1. So William Davies was a one-term mayor of Westfield while living in the house, and then he died there in 1947, 4 years after his wife. The house went on to the Davies' son and their daughter-in-law, Frances Ernest Davies, who sold it to Dillard and Mary Bird in 1951, again, for $1. Like, people must have known something about this house even early back then for them to keep selling such a beautiful home. It's like spacious, it's gorgeous for $1. The house sold 3 more times to Lawrence and Mary Holmes Schaefer, and the couple paid $23,000 for the home. And then to Seth and Floyd Bakes, then in 1990 to John and Andrea Woods for $370,000. So okay, now we're starting to get into where things get strange. So the Woods couple received a letter from the Watcher thanking them for taking care of the house. Now, this couple, they were both retired scientists. They told the Broadduses that they remembered the letter they received as more strange than threatening. So in 2014, the Broadduses closed on the home for $1,355,657, according to Zillow. Less than a year after the purchase, the Broadduses decided to sell 657 Boulevard, listing it for $1.49 million to reflect the renovation work that they had already done in the home. Prospective buyers were scared off by the letters, thereby lowering the price to $1.35 million, and a few months later it dropped again to $1.25 million. So finally, we come to, because I'm not going to read everything that happened in the transactions, but the people who have it right now, the house was sold to the Brave, Andrew and Allison Carr, for $959,000, so just under $1 million, at a loss of $400,000 to the Broadduses. And the quote-unquote Watcher has not yet been identified. However, the case remains unsolved, at least for now, so it's an ongoing thing. So I'm looking at Netflix for possibly doing like a season 2, but again, we have to see how this progresses because it's based on a true story. But I want you guys to get into what you think. Let me know your thoughts on it, and I will keep you posted and updated. And if they have a season 2, then we'll recap it together. All right. Have a wonderful weekend, you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.